What's up, guys? We got another interesting day with some good updates. Kind of like Plarium was promising last year, we had that massive drought that we didn't have any champion rebalances for like, I don't know, 8 months or 6 months or whatever. And they said that there is gonna be more this year, and it's going to be a focus that they are going to do. I was super skeptical about it, but we got yet another champion rebalance. I think it might be the third one this year. I don't wanna... at least the second one, but I think it might even be the third one. Or did we have one rebalance in December or something? But we're definitely getting a good amount of rebalances. I don't think today's rebalance is earth-shattering, but both of the champions are gonna be more viable and interesting. But it's not like we're getting a new Taras, though we're definitely getting a new Nuger that I will use, so it's gonna be fun. Let's actually see what they said. So I have the announcement here on the picture. Let me for once do it properly and move myself to the side a little bit so you can see it. But the two champions that are getting buffed are Mina and Guinevere. Both of them, of course, are never used champions that people will cry if they get them. And funny story, by the way, that tells you in a nutshell how bad these champions are. Even though I kind of regret this choice at this point, because it was way before Curse City. This was probably like a year ago, 1.5 years ago, something like that. But the only champion that I have ever pulled a 6-star soul for was Mina, and I instantly sold the soul, of course, because I wanted to get 6-star blessing on Rotos. Probably I don't regret it, or I wouldn't do it if I knew what I know now, but if I didn't know what's gonna happen, that Mina is getting buffed and we need high level blessings in Curse City, I would definitely do the same thing again. But she is getting a buff, she totally deserves a buff, and let's see what Plarium says about her. With this rebalance, we have focused on improving Mina's healing capabilities, which should strengthen her role as a reliable and versatile healer, suitable for different areas in the game. Forget about 10k flat heal. It was the A2, right? Yeah. She will now heal 30% of Mina's max HP, like Marichka, and on top of the heal reduction debuff, she will have a cleanse to land a leech debuff on all enemies with Coronar on the same team. These debuffs become unresistible. Oh, okay, so she will land it in either case, but doesn't need accuracy with Coronar. Not that heal reduction is in any way relevant in PvP, but it might very well become relevant in some future boss fight or whatever. We have removed increased death buff conditional for her A3, meaning that she will now always place block debuffs buff on her allies after the heal. As for her passive, when dying, Mina will now not only feel the turn meter of the allies but also heal them. There is no such thing as too much healing, right? So nothing super OP. She didn't get like a shield with her other stuff, like with the 30% heal, or she's not reviving people on death or anything, so still a trillion times worse than Marichka. You literally would rather have one Marichka than infinite amount of Mina's. I can already tell you that she's not gonna be relevant in PvP, but maybe a little bit more useful in Curse City waves and maybe some other PvE content that I'm not thinking about. But so if we go through the skills one by one, as you can see, the highlighted part is ones that were changed. So now, oh yeah, they didn't change the A1, my bad. So on the A2, the 10k heal is now 30% heal. But it's heals this champion and the ally with lowest HP, so it's not everybody. And then it places a leech, which, if anything, is gonna just get you polymorphed on PvP. So honestly, this kind of makes her almost even worse in PvP. Not really, because you don't have to build her in accuracy, but you weren't gonna use her in PvP in the first place, and you're not gonna do it now either. But it's still useful, more heal for Hydra or something. You wouldn't use it on Hydra, but maybe there's some place where you need heal reduction. I guess, of course, I'm kind of dumb. Of course it's good on Amius. You need healing there, and healing reduction is good. And I was using Mina on Amius, and I'm sure a lot of people that have her were using it, so that is of course the place you're gonna find it useful. But the leech debuff is honestly not useful there. The chances are that your nukers don't do enough damage to heal anyway, and you don't want to place too many, or you don't want to place any unnecessary debuffs on the boss at all, because it can just make him hit harder. So that's actually not used. But then on the A2, not the A2, it's the A3. Yeah, basically he got latest block debuffs buff for 2 turns on champions under increased defense, so now that isn't conditional and she will always do it. And then on the passive, 20% heal when she dies, along with the 20% turn meter. Not big deal, still useful, I'll take it. We need more champions with buffs, even if they don't become the best champions in the game after this. But then we got something a little bit more interesting. Again, Queen Eva is not going to be the best champion after this change, but she's definitely gonna be useful. She didn't get any unkillable passives that all of the meta champions basically have, but she is going to do damage. Why am I looking at Rey and not Queen Eva? By the way, I have been asking for Queen Eva buffs for many times, and I kind of predicted it many times that surely she's gonna be one of the champions that get buffed eventually. And as far as I recall, I think I have full reaction accessories on her, with even some triple attack ring or something like that. I might even have a good amount of stone skin, so maybe I can make up for the lack of survivability. But let's take a look at what they actually say about Eva. Let me put myself... okay, there is fine. After the following changes, you will see Queen Eva's performance in all types of arena battles, and yeah, she will actually be useful in arena, unlike Mina. Given she is on your team, of course, we have increased damage for all of her skills and added 15% extra chance to crit on both her A1 and A2, meaning that you can build her with only 85% crit rate, making room for other useful stats. I think she only had the 15% extra crit rate on her AoE nuke, which sometimes was relevant for some PvE content, like for campaign clearing if you only use the A3, which I think resets the cooldown of the skill on kill. Let me double check it, I don't want to give you misinformation. Yeah, okay. That's kind of what I remembered on top of my head. Queen Eva is one of those champions that if you ever pulled her, you read her kit once and then you put her in vault and never thought about it again, so I had to double check. Apart from these changes, her A1 will now also have a chance to place... Actually, it's better to see both of them at the same time when we're talking about these skills. Apart from these changes, her A1 will now also have a chance to place block buffs debuff on the enemy, So if you grant your Queen Eva some accuracy, she will be able to make your opponent's damage dealer miserable. This is especially useful against champions with inbuilt survival mechanics or in Swift Parry set. Now, I already asked from community managers, so AVAX 1 enemy has 50% chance of placing 100% heal reduction debuffs. I asked that did they change the order of the debuff so that she places it before the skill, and they said that they didn't. So she will place the block buffs debuff, assuming of course that you have enough accuracy, which you don't want to build on your nukers anyway. You're just gonna get polymorphed, unless you do something super strong that is worth the risk of getting polymorphed. But she's gonna place those debuffs after the attack anyway. So it's of course completely irrelevant against Swift Parry. Not that anybody uses Swift Parry anyway. Kind of shows a little bit how out of touch the design team is about PvP, but we will give them a pass, though they definitely could have consulted the PvP community about that description, because what they said here is definitely not true and not relevant. Nobody is using Swift Parry. I have ungodly amount of Swift Parry. I'm sure there is only couple players in the game with more Swift Parry than I do, and I'm literally not using it on a single arena champion. The set is that bad, and this wouldn't even counter Swift Parry anyway, since the debuff isn't applied before the hit. But then we get to the interesting part. Their A2 will now ignore 50% of the target's defense. As this is a double hitter skill with inbuilt block revive, we want enemy players who decide to face Queen Eva with their UDK, Sun Wukong or Rotos on arena. Now, let me double check the multiplier. I think the multiplier is something like 2. Let's say it was like 2.2 per hit, something like that. So that would make the multiplier with the entire skill something below 5. Wait, did they buff the multiplier of that skill? No, yeah, the A2 damage was increased, but not the A3. Oh no, A1 damage was increased. Yeah. A1 and A3 damage is increased, but not the A1. So if we quickly look at the multipliers, A1 has 2.8 multiplier, that's very low. The A2 has 2.3 multiplier, which is a double hitter, which isn't getting buffed, so the other two multipliers are gonna be bigger, but 4.6 multiplier with 50% ignore defense is a very good skill. That is going to hit hard. Not quite as hard as Wukong A2, but actually, yeah, it's gonna be hitting similar ratings. He books 25% from books and has very high base attack, so it's gonna be harder hitting than Wukong A2, I guess. That's gonna be very hard hitting skill, and probably you can have enough damage with one hit, even through UDK, to actually kill somebody. So yeah, that skill is going to be very interesting and relevant in PvP. The issue is that she doesn't have any inbuilt survivability, but I do like the fact that she is Spirit Affinity, and I don't think Harima passive applies to Dark Elves. I pray to God that it doesn't. Let me double check. Wait, why am I looking at Demon Spawn? Harima passive applies to like every single nuker or the factions that I have nukers on. Please don't be Dark Elves. Okay, it's only Demon Spawn. Anyway, so not Demon Spawn meaning like Helicat and who else? Helicat and Initve, yeah. But not Queen Eva, and she is good affinity. Even can place the block buffs debuff, though I don't think that's actually going to be relevant in practice. But she can probably kill Harima. She's gonna lose a massive amount of damage on the A2 of course, but she's strong affinity, so you have that, and she does have some raw damage on the other skills, so maybe you could just try to kill the Harima with the A3 first, or maybe hit it with A3 and then block revive it with low HP when it's low HP and you hit it with the A2. But this does sound very interesting and very good. Now, I kind of have an issue that all of my main nukers are reliant on ignore defense, and I really want to get something with massive raw damage like Harima or Harima, Lazarus or Taras. Maybe even Ragas, because he doesn't have ignore defense per se, but decreased defense debuff, which isn't harmed by Harima passive. But anyway, this skill is going to hit insanely hard, and then they even buffed the last skill, which, let me double check you, that had a multiplier of 3.4, and Queen Eva does have extremely high base attack of 1700. We don't know what the multipliers are gonna be yet, we only know it from when the data miners give us the information. I don't know why, but for some reason Plarium just refuses to tell us the multipliers. It's weird, but anyway. So on the A3, damage increased. Is that it? Oh yeah. Yeah, damage increased. I was looking at the wrong skill. So on A3 it's just damage increase. If it has very high multiplier, it can be kind of interesting. Again, it books 25%, and I have talked about this before, that the increased damage from books is actually a very huge deal. You might think that it's not that relevant in practice, but 25% book damage is just flat 25% damage increase overall on the damage of that skill. And when you pair that with high base attack and decent multipliers, it is going to add up. But right now the multiplier is 3.4. We don't know what it's going to be. Usually when they buff the multipliers on skills, they are pretty conservative, so I wouldn't expect it to be suddenly like 5+ multiplier, but we will see. Attacks all enemies, decreases the turn meter by 20%. They should make this also ignore resistance, might as well. Resets the cooldown on each of these champion skills if any target is killed. Has 15% of inflicting extra critical hit, which is going to be on all of her skills. You only need 85% crit rate. That's pretty nice. Basically you can kind of consider it that she already has very high base attack, so she even has very high base crit damage, so her damage is even better than the multipliers imply, meaning that the A1 or the A2 that has 50% ignore defense, which you can get up to 100% with Helm Smasher and Savage Set, is going to be hitting insanely hard. But I guess it kind of has a pretty good synergy that the A3 doesn't rely on ignore defense. Maybe it gets a very high multiplier, but even if it doesn't, if you get some low HP targets, you can maybe kill them with this skill and reset the cooldown of A2. Sounds very interesting. People are definitely gonna be using her. I think even the top guys might use her in speed teams or with Necret and so on. But again, the issue is that she has a base HP of 15k with 800 defense and no survivability on her kit. So she is something like Initve, a total glass cannon with 0 survivability. Don't expect her to suddenly dominate arena and be better than Harima or Taras or Rotos. Definitely that's not going to be happen. She is going to be a situational pick, something like Init, though definitely way more common than that, because she does hit very hard. And yeah, that's all of the rebalances that we had on this update. I'm pretty excited about this. I will definitely make Queen Eva video tomorrow. I already made a live arena video today, so I wasn't gonna do it, but we're gonna get 2 days in row of live arena because of this buff, and I want to test her. But yeah, let me know what you think. Did you saw the Queen Eva buff coming? I think all of the CCs have been predicting it for a long time. She has kind of cool skin. She has never been used for anything, maybe campaign farming, but the rare champion Fellhound does it better than Eva. I'm not even gonna show Fellhound. You probably know who Fellhound is. But yeah. Wait, why can I not find Eva anymore? And even her name, like Queen Eva, it kind of... She deserved to be a useful champion. And like I said, definitely has good skin, so she would be good in their marketing campaigns and so on. Definitely gonna be good clickbait for my videos. But yeah, that's it for this video. Let me know what you think about it and if you have any good pointers that I missed on the video. But that's it. See ya.